New York City moves fast, too fast. Sometimes, millions of people rushing from one place to another, eyes fixed on phones, minds occupied by deadlines, responsibilities, and the countless worries that follow us through everyday life. On a crowded subway platform in January 2007, it was just another ordinary morning. Commuters waited for trains. Children stood beside parents. Conversations drifted through the station air. Nobody expected to witness a life or death decision. And nobody expected that the person who would make that decision was standing quietly among them. Because when most of us imagine a hero, we imagine someone extraordinary. Someone different. Someone braver than the rest of us. But what if courage isn't created in a moment? What if it is revealed by one? That morning, a 50-year-old construction worker named Wesley Autrey stood on the platform with his two young daughters. He wasn't famous. He wasn't a firefighter. He wasn't a police officer. He wasn't searching for danger. He was simply a father taking his children through another ordinary day, the kind of man most people would never notice. But history has a way of finding people when they least expect it. Nearby stood a 20-year-old college student named Cameron Holopeter. Without warning, Cameron suffered a seizure. Witnesses watched as he stumbled, lost control, and collapsed onto the platform. For a moment, confusion spread through the crowd. People froze. Some stepped back. Others stared, unsure of what to do. But one man moved. Wesley rushed forward. He knelt beside the young stranger and began helping him. At that point, there was no train, no dramatic rescue, no cameras, no headlines waiting to be written. Just a man helping another human being who needed assistance. And perhaps that detail matters more than it first appears, because the rescue did not begin on the tracks. It began here, with a decision most people would never remember. The decision to step forward when everyone else stepped back. For several moments, Wesley stayed with Cameron, trying to help him recover. Then suddenly, everything became worse. Still disoriented from the seizure, Cameron lost his balance. Before anyone could react, he stumbled toward the edge of the platform and fell. The crowd gasped. Cameron landed directly on the subway tracks below. Then someone saw it. The train, approaching the station. Fast. The rails vibrated. Headlights appeared in the tunnel. The distance between life and death was shrinking by the second. Panic erupted across the platform. People screamed. Some waved frantically toward the oncoming train. Others searched desperately for help. Everyone understood the same terrifying reality. There wasn't enough time. Not enough time to call for assistance. Not enough time to organize a rescue. Not enough time to think. And this is where most stories begin. But perhaps the story began much earlier, because while others were deciding what to do, Wesley was already moving. He jumped, not after calculating the odds, not after carefully weighing the consequences. He simply jumped from the safety of the platform onto the tracks below, toward a stranger, toward danger, toward what many believed would be certain death. Reaching Cameron, Wesley immediately understood the problem. The young man was too disoriented to help himself, and there was no chance of lifting him back onto the platform before the train arrived. The opportunity for escape was gone. The train was almost there. The lights were growing larger. The rails shook beneath them. Every second mattered. Then Wesley noticed something. A shallow drainage trench between the tracks. Not deep, not safe, but perhaps deep enough. Perhaps it was the only chance they had. He pulled Cameron down into the narrow space, then laid his own body across him, and waited. The train entered the station. The sound became deafening. Steel thundered overhead. The ground trembled. Darkness swallowed everything. Hundreds of tons of moving metal passed only inches above them. Passengers inside the train had no idea what was happening beneath their feet. Above the platform, people watched in horror, certain they had just witnessed two men die. And beneath the train, Wesley could do nothing except trust that his judgment had been right. A few inches higher and both men would be killed. A few inches lower and both men would be crushed. Life and death separated by a space so small it seemed impossible. Then, the train stopped. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody knew what they would find. Rescuers rushed forward. Passengers leaned over the platform edge. And then someone saw movement. Against all odds, both men were alive. The impossible had happened. An ordinary man had jumped in front of a train and somehow survived. As relief swept through the station, another scene unfolded quietly above. Two young girls stood among the crowd, Wesley's daughters. In all the chaos, it would have been easy to forget they had been there from the beginning. One moment their father had been beside them. The next he had disappeared, lost beneath the platform. Then came the screams, the rushing train, the panic, and the terrifying uncertainty that follows when someone you love vanishes into danger. Perhaps they were too young to understand every detail. But children do not need to understand danger to feel fear. For several agonizing moments, they had no way of knowing whether they would ever see their father again. When reporters later interviewed Wesley, they asked the question everyone wanted answered. Why? Why would a father risk everything for someone he had never met? Why would anyone do that? Many expected a heroic speech, some grand explanation. Instead, Wesley's answer was surprisingly simple. He saw someone who needed help, and he acted. That's all. But perhaps that answer points to something deeper. Maybe the real question was never why Wesley jumped. Maybe the real question is who he had become long before that train ever arrived. Because courage rarely appears out of nowhere. It is usually built quietly, through responsibility, through discipline, through countless unseen choices. The choice to care, the choice to help, the choice to step forward. Choices so small nobody notices them. Until one day, Life presents a moment that cannot be ignored, a moment that demands an answer immediately. No preparation, no rehearsal, no second chances. And whatever answer emerges in that moment is often the result of years spent becoming the person who gives it. Maybe that's why this story still resonates. Not because a train nearly killed two men, but because it forces us to confront a question about ourselves. Most of us will never stand on subway tracks with a train racing toward us. But all of us will face moments that demand courage. Moments when fear says step back and conscience says step forward. Moments that reveal who we are, or who we have been becoming all along. Perhaps that is why the story of Wesley Autrey still resonates today, because it wasn't merely a story about a train. It was a story about character, about the kind of person a man becomes long before anyone is watching. And perhaps that's the real lesson hidden beneath a crowded subway station in New York City. But the truth may be even more remarkable. The hero had been there long before the train arrived. The train simply revealed him. This is the power of pain, where broken stories become unbreakable strength. Thank you for watching.